Hi, everybody. As you're reading and studying, and we're talking about the paintings of the Renaissance and some of the things that developed in terms of, style and the subject matter and the making of those paintings, one of the things that comes up often is that we see these paintings that are made out of oil paint, and they're made through a series of glazes. And a few of you asked me about that, so I thought I'd show you a little bit how that process is done for those of you who are not painters or not involved in art in those kinds of ways, or maybe you paint differently if you are an artist. And so I thought I would show you on an old painting of mine, kind of a funny old painting of mine. It was a self-portrait in which I have a cicada. You see the cicada right there? It's a little insect. But I thought I would do a little glazing on top of it. Now, you might remember that the artist Bosch was an artist in the 16th century who would sometimes make paintings alla prima, and that meant that it was all at once. And he wasn't interested in doing glazing on those paintings. But the kinds of paintings that you see, that you studied about, from Van Eyck or from Titian, from the artist Giovanni Bellini, those artists all had a wonderful technique of glazing. So I'm not going to be able to be like those guys, but I thought I'd show you basically how that's done, just so you can see the idea. Now, this is an older painting, so it's dry, you see. And then I put some paints out here, you see that? And I'm going to put some thin glazes of the paint on top of the painting. So let me just kind of organize this here a little bit better, a little closer. It doesn't matter if you see the whole thing. I'm taking a little bit of medium, oil painting medium. You might be able to see that. It's kind of a liquidy, kind of almost a golden ambery color. And artists, as I say, artists have been using this for centuries, different types. And I'm just mixing a very thin amount of paint with that medium. The idea of a glaze is that it's going to be thin layers of paint with medium in it, so that we can see light penetrate those layers and bounce off of each other and come back to our eye. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here. I know it seems kind of funny. We modern artists, we do all sorts of weird things with color. So I'm not really a green person, but we're going to put a little bit of green on me here. A little bit extra green along that. I'm going to add some more paint here, a little bit more of this glazing medium, making the paint nice and thin. You can see how thin that is there. And then I'm putting it along here. And then to make a little more drama, I'll take a little of a dark blue paint, mix it a bit with that green paint, add some more of that translucent, transparent medium, and incorporate it in some areas in order to create a greater sense of drama. So I'm putting it around the eye. You see that? A little bit under the nose, under the mouth, and so on. So again, the reasoning for artists doing this, for the painters wanting to do that, is that there is a greater sense of luminosity that happens when you actually see the paintings. And so they don't look as flat as, just a piece of canvas or wood or board or anything else that you might be painting on. Instead, they have a much more beautiful and more vibrant, a more dimensional appearance on them by the act of doing this very simple change, a simple process. Now, of course, I can never resist. I have to play around a little bit more as I'm working with a painting and go even beyond the idea of glazing. Okay, so I'm just doing a little bit more painting on top of this, and just in a way to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. But that's essentially what glazing is. And you might think, well, gee, does glazing always have to be dark colors? You're putting dark over light. Well, no, it doesn't. In fact, you can do some lighter colors, and I have a very pale kind of pinkish yellow that I'm going to put on top of, let's see, I'm going to put it on top of this, kind of bring that out just a bit more. Maybe I'll put it on top of this. Okay. Maybe a little tiny bit on the cicada. Okay, put it on there. Maybe a little bit on the around the face. And just a wee bit maybe on the lip here. Okay. And that is glazing.